Hello and welcome to a very special episode of the Mark and Me podcast. As always, I'm your host Mark. Now this episode today is recorded live from 2000 Trees Music Festival. I was lucky enough to do the final ever interview in front of a live audience as part of a podcast, and my God, I'm joined by the best British band out there who have now decided to call it a day. So on today's episode, you're going to hear the very final interview with both Josh and Andy from the awesome Palm Reader. For me, Palm Reader are one of the best British bands of all time, and I don't say that lightly. They have been unbelievable and given us such a legacy of incredible music, amazing performances, and to get to go there to the festival and see their last ever show was an absolute honour. Before their final show, I was given the opportunity to host this live podcast, which I was lucky enough to record for you guys at home and hopefully give the band the send-off that they deserve. I think Josh and Andy have been brilliant. The podcast has come out really well and I can't wait to get to it. So I think the best thing to do is to let you guys at home hear this live podcast right now. So here's me, Josh and Andy during the very final ever Palm Reader interview.
Hello 2000 Trees! Wow, I can't even see to the back of this tent, it's insane. How is everyone doing at this beautiful festival? As you know, today I'm joined by, in my opinion, and this is why I wanted these people to be a guest, probably the best British band out there, and I truly mean that. I truly do. I grew up listening to bands like Hell is for Heroes, 100 Reasons, Reuben, all these bands that shaped my music taste. I then saw Palm Reader live and everything changed. I just thought to myself, this band have got everything I've looked for, all in a band. And then I was lucky enough to go and see Thrice, who are also up there as one of the greatest. And they were announced as support. And I was like, I can't believe these two bands are sharing the stage. I walked in and I literally sat there and thought, I really hope that both of them blow me away tonight. And suddenly, it felt like Slipknot. There was like 7 members of Palm Reader on stage. And I was like, I don't remember this band having half of Black Peaks and all these other band members, but it felt like this super group. And I will genuinely put my hand on my heart, and I believe this is true. They blew Thrice off the stage. And they were the warm-up. And I felt like, how does Dustin follow this set? They're incredible. Their dynamics are great. But Palm Reader are just... I feel emotional because I know this is the last interview and we're going to get to see the last show. But they have done something special for music and they're going to be greatly missed. So it is truly an honour that I get to announce Andy and Josh today to come on stage and join me for the Mark and Me live podcast.
Hello.
G'day. So we also just had a little backstage talk that the guys haven't actually done the final set yet. And these lovely people just said, if the band want any more beer, help yourself.
Bad idea. We are behaving.
Guys, welcome to the Mark and Me live at 2000 Trees. It's an honour to share the stage with you.
Thank you for having us. The feeling is mutual.
What I do with all bands that come on the podcast, I've had 357 guests now, but they all get the same first question. It doesn't matter what walk of life you're from, and I'm really interested in how it all started for you both. So growing up as a kid, maybe you saved your pocket money or someone in your family handed you an album. But for each of you, what was that first album that kind of made you fall in love with music, where you're looking at the inlay, you're smelling it, you're playing it to death, and you just come on, CDs smell good.
It just threw me, it's fine. Yeah.
What was that first album for each of you that started it all?
For me, it was Hybrid Theory, Linkin Park. That was the first one I Fuck yeah. That was the first one that I really got into. There was plenty before that I enjoyed. I grew up in a family where there was music playing all the time, especially in the back of the car, always listening to bits and pieces. But Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory is the first one that I went and bought. The first band that I ever really became like a fan of. And well, yeah, it kind of just stemmed from there, really.
I got Rage Against the Machine self-titled records as a very angry teen, and it hasn't waned. So I didn't actually buy it. I copied the tape off a mate.
Woo! Yeah.
Piracy works, kids.
Yeah. So it all changed for me with live music, and I've told this story many times, but I was very lucky. My parents dropped me off. I was at Wolverhampton, and I walked in and got to see, on their Dookie tour, Green Day. My first ever live experience of music. Where's the cheer for Green Day? Wow. They're rubbish. They're rubbish now. But I was very lucky to go in, and I was blown away, and it made me want to pick up a guitar, start a band, and try and be like Billy Joe Armstrong and dream of being that front man. But I wondered what your first live band was. Was it a cool, great band, or was it something that you don't normally admit to a tent full of people?
It was actually one of the bands that you mentioned in the intros. The first band I ever went to see was Hell is for Heroes.
Amazing band.
Yeah, on the Neon Handshake tour at the Electric Ballroom in Camden. I was 15, I think. Yeah.
I like the cheering. It's as random as hell, but
I saw Slipknot at Portsmouth Guildhall on the
Fucking hell.
second UK run with 1 Minute Silence and Key, and it was sick.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wins. Fair play.
To try and cover the history of Palm Reader in the time we've got is impossible, but for the people that don't know the story of your band or how it all started, did you do the whole experimenting in loads of bands during college and school and do the whole battle of the bands with other bands, or was it your first kind of try at music was that you all came together for this incredible Palm Reader?
It definitely wasn't the first band that we'd been in. I mean, I started the band when I was 21, and I've been singing since the age of like 14, 15. I'd only ever been in like one, maybe two bands before that. But yeah, no, so it was the first real attempt at like sort of gaining some notoriety for singing.
Yeah.
For myself personally, anyway.
I was in a couple of crap metal bands, and then
Scrap metal.
Scrap metal. That is.
scrap metal bands, scrappers.
Can we invent that genre today? Like, have you heard them? They're one of the best scrap metal bands out there. Yeah.
There it is.
Very industrial.
I was in a bunch of crappy metal bands, and then a mathcore band that did okay. Then I was in Polar for a brief period, and then got a call saying, we're really desperate, we need someone good in our band, can you come join Palm Reader?
I don't remember the second part. The desperation was there, but I don't.
We're really desperate.
Yeah, I don't.
I technically didn't get asked to join Palm Reader, I just kind of
You just never left.
Just never left.
Yeah, are you actually in the band? Are they just like,
No.
still to this day, if they said...
And I have the bank account.
Yeah, that's entirely true. We never actually asked him to join. He just never left.
I like
We're
the
very
fact
grateful
that-
for it. We all love you. I'm not being an arsehole. It's just, that's true.
Just wish I would leave now.
Yeah.
I was wondering if the phone call was like, hey, we're really desperate. And he's about to say, do you know anyone? But by the time you'd even said desperate, he's like, yeah, I'll join. Like, now, I'm in.
the room.
Yeah.
By that point, end of the phone call.
Wow.
We met in a Weatherspoons pub, I remember.
Yeah.
No one cheer for Weatherspoons. Oh.
Got cheers.
Yay. Fuck them.
In Woking. Nice.
What got the biggest cheer of the day, Mark? Woking.
One person.
Wow. So Palm Reader came together. Did you have any expectations? Were you just doing it for some fun and hoping that people might listen? Was it we're going to do all we fucking can to make this our full-time job? Or was it just, let's just see how it goes?
There was certainly no intention of it being like a full-time job, but there was a lot of ambition for it to be way more than just sort of like a weekend rock star gig. it was something that we wanted to do as often as possible. But there's always a ceiling in a niche genre, and that's kind of where we were. So I think whilst there was a lot of ambition and we really wanted to get as far as we could, we also understood that there's only so far you can get. So it's like make us I don't know, make the most of it is probably what, for me at least, just enjoy as much of it as possible.
Were you just to be happy just to be accepted in a band? It sounds like you were just, that was enough for you.
No, I just pushed my way in.
Force your way in, and then we just, how long is it going to be until I get rumbled and told I'm not actually in the band?
It's taken 13 years, but no one's noticed.
Oh, we fucking noticed.
So, do you remember those first gigs? Is it really 13 years ago? That blows my mind. Do you remember those first gigs and kind of the warming yourselves up and kind of thinking, actually, this is fucking working? Like, this is awesome.
Yeah. Yes and no. I was fairly inebriated a lot of the time at that age. So I remember the vast majority. I remember being really fucking excited and feeling like we were not doing something different, but we were playing the songs that we wanted to hear, which is pretty much all we ever did, or we've ever done, should I say. It's not over just yet.
I'll edit it after today.
Yeah, I don't know, man, yeah. Just thinking back's making me a bit nostalgic. I'm kind of getting lost in thinking back to the first shows. Yeah, it was really enjoyable, just really exciting. We're all young and full of beans and full of beer and just ripping up stages across the UK and Europe.
Did it take off more than you anticipated? Because obviously the goal within your genre is only going to reach so far. You can't, and with full respect, I told you at the start, you're one of my favourite bands, but it was never going to be we're going to headline Download Festival, main stage, you know.
There's definitely realistic about what you can achieve with the kind of thing we were doing at the time, which is, can we make it more horrible to listen to and still enjoy playing it? It's a niche genre. It can only go so far. We were just happy to play as much as humanly possible. And that's all that thing. I don't think we actually planned any further than just playing more shows.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, just writing more chaotic songs and, I don't know, interrupting people's headbanging with time signatures and being awkward and also being as funny as possible behind closed doors is the biggest aim we've ever had.
Lovely. The whole thing was always, how can we make this funnier? That's it.
Did you ever achieve that?
Yeah. You're the one smiling, mate. You tell me.
You're doing well. People are laughing. People are having a good time. But recording that first album, did you feel like that's, when we talk about the bands we've mentioned today, Hell is for Heroes with Neon Handshake, 100 Reasons with Ideas Above Our Station, they're huge albums. It's making your mark on the industry. I think everything should go into your debut because that's your thing that will always be measured upon. That's your kind of instant benchmark for people to achieve. Did you go in recording thinking we need to do everything we can to try and put our name on the map, to try and get out there? Or were you just too early in the process to kind of take a step back and be like, we just want to record a fucking album?
100% the latter of the two.
What happened was we went and recorded a second EP, and our management at the time went, you need to go and record a record. And we went, okay. And then soon after we lost our first drummer. And then
He didn't die.
Yeah, in memory of him.
Let's get that in there.
And then we got Dan on board and went, hey, bud, learn all these songs and we have to write a record and record it in 4 months.
Fucking hell.
So that's...
Didn't he join the band in like 2 weeks before we record? 2 weeks before we recorded the first record, yes. So to learn the songs, write a bunch of them and record it in...
That deserves a round of applause.
Danos, everybody.
Danos.
The tallest man in the tent.
Yeah, to be honest, we didn't really, like you're saying, we didn't really think, oh, this is our first record, we need to make a statement. There was none of that. I think we were always kind of looking forward and we were always thinking, well, there will be another album. We're going to keep like progressing. And that's the way I felt about it. So it was a question of like, well, get this out of the way, do the next one. We'll play some more fucking shows. Like, it was 2 weeks off the road at that point, really.
It's insane that then you need to try and top that debut. It's a struggle for a band because you've always left your foundations. You've now got to build on it. People have expectations. You've matured as musicians and as a band and probably grown stronger as individuals. What was it like then, the pressure of trying to top it?
It happened very, very quickly. So we recorded Bad Weather in January 13.
Yeah.
And then that came out May the 4th. And then we went into to write again in October in Birmingham, and then recorded in January 2014. We recorded Beside the Ones We Love. So it was we were the same band. It was a very quick process, very quick.
But I don't think we really felt any pressure.
We just kind of did it.
No, because we knew that we had so much in the tank. Like a couple of the tracks on the first record were like on the first EP, and they're like the first songs we ever wrote as a band. So it definitely felt like an extension of a demo or an EP rather than the first album. The second album felt way more like us as a collective at that time, like as the band that we became. And it was, you can hear the departure from the first record musically anyway. It's like it's a whole different world. Way more aggressive, way more chaotic, a lot faster, way harder to play live.
Is that something that goes into consideration? When I interview bands, I'm always curious. When you're writing these great songs, coming up with these riffs, you're in this studio, you can do so many different takes or overdubs. Are you then conscious that, are we going to be able to pull this off live? Are you always in the back of your head thinking, are we actually going to do these riffs justice? Because it's not as easy as it when you're stripping it down to a couple of guitars or a bass and drums.
Yeah, we didn't think about that at the time at all. I think when we went to the studio to record Beside the Ones We Love, it was also, we hadn't got any of the tempos mapped out. So it was like, does that feel about the right speed? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, okay, we'll go for that. And then just look through the window and see Dan just sweating out of his eyes because it was way too quick.
We weren't playing to a click track or anything at that stage. We were still very much fucking punk rock. So I think with the adrenaline, he was playing even faster live as well. Yeah, and personally for me, vocally, yeah, fair play.
Give it up for Fast. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard work. But yeah, for me as a vocalist, that record in particular was so full on. There wasn't really much space without vocals when I listen back to it now, which is insane. So touring it and playing it live was a struggle. I learned how to lose my voice and carry on playing shows. And I also learned eventually how to not lose my voice. Made me stronger by making me weaker first.
When you're doing these shows as the band and you're obviously the musicians, the songwriters, you're turning up and you're playing, did you see that kind of growth that each time you were doing shows, more people were singing along, more people were turning up and your ticket sales were going up? And did you see that kind of increase that the band was having on the industry, that you could see that it was like, actually, look, there's X amount of t-shirts sold tonight and there's people at the front are all singing every word to our songs? Or were you just too involved and kind of incorporated in it to be able to take a step back and see it as an outsider?
I think we were way too self-involved. But also with the music we were doing at the time, it wasn't really people at the front. It was just a sort of maelstrom on and off the stage. And then all of a sudden your set finishes and you go, oh, great. And there's some people cheering and I go, my back hurts and I'm bleeding. And then that was kind of rinse and repeat for every show.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really write choruses as well, so there wasn't a lot to sing along to. There's a few standout parts that people would shout back, but it took a while until I succumbed to my ability to produce melody and top line vocals and choruses, and we kind of lent into it with the third album. I think that's when sing-alongs started really happening. Like, people were getting into it, and I was like,
that's a nice segue.
It's beautifully done, that was.
You're
I love that.
Fucking welcome.
Thank you. Talk about the third album. And I was really intrigued about writing more choruses and kind of singles and start of the transition for this. Was there anything inside that was conscious of changing that writing and the dynamics and everything? Because it was a change, and then you did hear these songs that were more radio friendly and catchy, and they would definitely appeal to the masses. So I was wondering, was that a subconscious thing, or was it just because of the influences of the band you were listening to at the time, or it was just something that happened because you are evolving as a musician and a songwriter?
All of the above, in short.
We've got still about half an hour, so not in short. I'm like, come on, in long.
Yes. No. I always knew I could sing. In the bands that I was in previously, I've been singing. I've been singing and shouting in bands since I was 15. It's what I'd always done. But with Palm Reader, I made a conscious effort at the very beginning not to do any singing if possible, or very little, because I always found that it was the biggest turn-off for a lot of people. It was the most sort of easily judged aspect of any band was when the singer started singing, and like if he's shouting, it's kind of like unintelligible. It's just noise, really. It's another texture, but it's just sort of percussive, and it flows with the song, and you kind of just follow it. But as soon as you start singing, there's so much you can pick apart, and you can just immediately go, well, I'm not going to listen to that band. And that's such a disservice on everyone else's ability, the songwriting and the playing, that it kind of felt like it was for me at least, initially, it was like, I won't do any singing because it opens the door a little bit wider. And then it came to Braille and the type of songs that we were writing on the third record. It just needed singing. It just made sense. So I did it, and it worked.
You say it just worked, but there aren't many people that I've seen in years of going to festivals that can sing like you. You're a fucking talent, dude.
Thank you. It's very kind.
It's true, and you're very humble. And when I interviewed you yesterday, you were like, "Oh, thanks very much," but I don't think you have any idea how fucking talented you are, and the range. You've got the growl, you've got the scream, you've got the melody, you've got the... There you go. Kane said there is no one else that sounds like you, and that is a fucking credit when a lot of the bands merge. You're like, who's this? I think it sounds a bit like so-and-so, but that's Palm Reader.
Lighthouse Family.
Yeah, he's not wrong. When I sing in like a lower octave, I do sound like a lion.
What a band. What's really spooky is when we were talking at the start and I was like, what was your first albums? I was like, I'm really glad, because sometimes when I interview people, they're like, what was yours, Mark? Truly, one of my first... this is bad. I bought it from Woolworths for 99p.
That's where I bought Linkin Park. Fuck yeah.
You're talking about Linkin Park?
Sorry.
I had Lighthouse Family, High, 99p.
Yes, sir.
And Charles and Eddie. Does anyone remember them? Yeah. Charles and Eddie.
That hasn't happened in like 20 years.
Do you know what I mean? I feel sad talking about, obviously...
Can I just cut in quickly?
Please
told
do.
You this, but I never heard you sing before we started tracking Mobile Host.
Oh, really?
And it blew my tits off.
Fuck yeah.
So, yeah.
There's a lot of love in this tent. It's beautiful.
There's no love on the stage.
That fist bump was aggression.
So why did you break up? No. So obviously, when I went to see you with Thrice, and you had Joe from Black Peaks and Matt from
Haggard
Cat. I always try and say Baby Godzilla. Yes. And this extension of sound was then a wall of sound, and there was nothing like it. I wasn't prepared, but I wondered what it was that made you want to invest in these additional musicians and kind of take it to that next level, because then it was another level.
I wonder what it was, Andy Gillan.
Someone wrote a record with a load of guitar parts and then tried to figure out how to do it after we recorded it.
Yeah.
Who's this?
And then we figured we can't actually do it with two guitarists.
Yeah.
So the live stream came up, and we're like, well, we want to do the song with Justice, so we got Matt in for that, and our friend Kyle, who's here now, Tom of Rats, to do a modular synth on it. And then we kind of went, well, this sounds really good, and we should probably just keep doing it. And thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
It was a force of sound. It really was, and I wasn't prepared for it. But I said at the start, it was unbelievable. And I know, Josh, you're a massive fan of Rice.
Oh yeah.
And I wonder what it was like when you got that email or call or text to say, come on the UK tour.
I mean, it still hasn't really sunk in, to be honest. I didn't pluck up the courage to sort of speak to any of them at any point. I'm fairly introverted, despite being the front man of a band. It's not my vibe. I like to let people do what they want to do and let things occur naturally if possible. Yeah, it still hasn't really sunk in. It's fucking mental. I'll always cherish it. Honestly, it's one of the biggest highlights for me.
It's the same as when we got the email about Glassjaw in Brixton.
Yeah, fine.
And it's just like, are you fucking kidding?
Yeah.
So we need to know by the end of today. I'm like, I don't need to speak to anyone else.
Yeah.
It's a hard yes. And yeah, it's just one of those career highlights.
It's insane, isn't it? Glassjaw, Rice, pretty good for looking back.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it?
Yeah. Makes me emotional.
I wonder at what point, and this is, how honest you want to be, but at what point was the conversation had that, like, we should wrap this up now. This is the time for it to burn out, fade away, and say goodbye.
Well, for me personally, it was around the time that we received a positive pregnancy test. And there was a baby on the way, and I had to seriously consider things.
Oh.
That's kind of it, really, for me.
Yeah.
It was not a lengthy conversation between the two of us.
No.
We were struggling with a stable lineup. I hadn't written anything in 4 years that I've been happy with. We've been happy with.
Yeah.
There's been bits, and kind of the culmination of everything was like, if we stop, it won't be shit. And we've stuck to it.
Yeah.
There's been people like our awesome press agent M and our management and our booking agent and our label was just like, you could just keep going. You don't have to stop. And it's like,
Trust me, behind the scenes, these people that have just mentioned, Emma especially, please fucking go crazy, because these are the people that make this happen.
yes, sir.
Legends.
She's a fucking star.
Yes.
And nothing short of.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't an easy decision. It wasn't something that we just went, yeah, that's it then.
No.
It was fucking difficult. And there was every part of us there's even still a part of us like,
Well, I said to you at Thrice, like, I think after the second show, like, I don't want to stop doing this. And you were like, this is the 5%. This is like the best it gets.
yeah,
And then it's the grind and changing life situations and it's just, after doing it for 13 years, it's kind of like, this is a good stopping point to just draw a line under it and go, that was Palm Reader, that was fucking wicked, we love doing it. Because the alternative is not worth thinking about. A mediocre album, people falling out, not being able to tour, it's not something we wanted to entertain. Turning out to be another band that goes, oh, that was our last show because people have fallen out.
Yeah, we were granted the opportunity to have some autonomy over the situation and do everything on our own terms. And there's not, like Andy said, there's not a lot of bands that get to do that. And the vast majority of the time, when bands split up, it's not for good reasons. But we split up because we love each other.
Isn't that beautiful? Because that's so rare.
Again, aggression. That's punching.
I love you.
What was the time? What was the time scale? So had you decided this and then you got offered the Fries tour, or was it during the Fries tour? Or
I think we'd just been offered the Thrice tour.
Yeah.
I think I suggested the timescale, which was literally to finish the Trees.
Yeah.
And we could do fucking as much as we wanted beforehand, but like Trees was that, like, this is our 8th time playing here.
wow,
Maybe more.
It might be 9, but it's like, this is for us musically, but like, this is home. So we wanted to just go, this is the last show, and that's it. And 2,000 Trees.
does it? While we walked to the stage today, and you were saying you woke up today, and now it's the day. It's actually here.
It's ours, dude. Like it's October, I think we had the chat.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just been way down the road. It's been 6 months, and then it was the 3 months. Well, fucking hell, it's like 90 days till like we're done. And then it was 30, and then it was 2 weeks time. And then last week when we were doing those shows, I was like on the second show in London, I was like, this time next week, like this isn't going to be a thing anymore. And then this morning it was like, oh shit, it's 12 hours. And
Just crying, brushing my teeth.
And now it's
5.
wow.
Yeah, so a hell of a lot to think about. There's not a lot to
Without getting
process.
emotional, does it feel real? Does it feel like it is actually going to happen tonight? You're going to go on stage and be like, "Thank you, this is the last time."
No, it feels like a joke.
If it is, then you've been really fucking cruel.
Genuinely feels like we're going to finish playing and then everyone's going to be like, nah, only kidding. Tours next week.
Yeah, the final tour.
Final tour.
Yeah.
We've signed contracts with our lawyers saying we can't play anymore.
And then I take 30 seconds to think about it and I remember that it is real and that it's definitely happening and it starts to sink in and I start getting choked up.
And then we make each other laugh, and the whole thing goes away.
Yeah, someone makes a stupid joke and we're fine.
Are you nervous because of the expectations of people? Because you want to go out with probably your favorite show that you'll always remember, and hopefully people will leave the festival saying, I was there, I saw it, they sounded fucking amazing. They had 12 people on stage instead of 7.
Dude, for fuck's fucking hang on,
One of them had a
call.
keg.
Yeah.
Sorry, Daddy said it in public, and we lawyer up.
No, it's not, there's no nerves at this point. I mean, it's been a long time since I've been nervous before playing a show. Anyway, regardless of the size, because I know what everyone on stage is capable of, there's no nerves involved, really. It's once you're on the way to the stage, there's no point in being nervous. Because at that point, it's just, you have to do it. So if you're nervous, you're just going to hinder the process. So I'm personally not nervous about tonight. I am anxious about it, I think. It's just probably because I'm an anxious person in general.
Will it go off without a hitch? It is a palm reader show.
No. My
We
voice
already
is
have-
still pretty haggard from tour.
We already
so-
have 3 members of the team who are stuck and can't get on site at the moment.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's true. It's already been palm readers.
God.
They're here. They'll be here. Yeah, it's fine.
The future, and I can't kind of skip the elephant in the room. You are now in another band called Vower.
Yes.
Has anyone heard Vower? My
Thank you.
God. EP of the year. Unbelievable.
Thank you.
4 tracks, quality, not quantity. You will not hear a better release this year.
Yeah, if you're like Hooperstank.
It was all done by AI. No.
Yes. Are you excited that the chapter's closed but the book hasn't? You still got a vision of what's to come. You're working with the guys from Black Peaks. Unbelievable musicians.
Can we give it up for Black Peaks, please? Every fucking day. Best band we've had, the UK's had in fucking years.
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
And they're all on site this weekend.
They are today.
Every single person. I'm like, if I could just
secret set.
They could.
No, shut up. Enough.
that would be good.
Yeah,
But
I'm incredibly excited.
yes,
Should we try and make that a thing? Eh? Should we try and make that a thing? Get them to the secret set.
Absolutely, yeah.
could you imagine?
Spread the word. Tell all your friends. Black Peak secret set tomorrow, Forest Stage. 4 o'clock.
No, 2:15 because I'm there with Frank Turner. So
Perfect. Yeah, 2:15.
yeah. But you've got another
Gonna get in
project.
trouble.
It's early days, but to play with Carnival, to have this EP out there, to be Arctangent, 2000 Trees, it's a dream come true in a short space of time.
Yeah.
You must be excited.
Yeah, very. Yeah. It's given me an opportunity to continue to be a creative individual, specifically a singer and songwriter, lyricist, and
DJ.
and raise a child, which is something I didn't think I'd be able to do. I mean, the fact of the matter is that Palm Reader took so much from me that there's no way that was compatible with raising a child, but the vow doesn't take as much for me to achieve what I want, which is to sing on great songs on stages in front of people. I am grateful. I'm very lucky. It's all kind of just happened around the right time. There was no real planning at all. From the outside, it probably looks like I've like joined Vow or everyone, fuck palm reader. But it's all very much timing, and it all hinged on the birth of my daughter, or the daughter of my birth.
Take the beer from him.
Yeah.
And are you thinking now there's going to be a void left? Are you going to get an itch? Are you like, well, if he's doing that, fuck him, I'm going to go and start my band as well?
I've thought fucking every day for
Yeah.
13 years. This is nothing new.
So you have a kid and you can't do palm reader, fine. Oh, but you're in another band, that's all right.
In fact, I played every single palm reader show. This guy didn't.
No, I don't want you to fall out and not do the show tonight. Fuck me, I'm going to get shot. But have you got an itch? Have you got a desire to now go and do some stuff?
I'm really going to start taking up smoking crack.
Wow.
Yes.
He's like he's speaking from experience. Like, I want it now. But yeah, take up crack.
But seriously, I am working with a couple of people, and I'm not writing for a band, which is something that I've been focused on doing since I was started playing when I was 13. So I'm 27.
No.
AI.
It's I've been focused on it since I was like 15. Is writing guitar in a band, writing parts for a band, and I've got starting to write with the dude who just makes music and wants guitar parts, and there's no formal kind of like group of people. So I'm kind of like quite excited for just fucking playing music, not chasing a career or like trying to be in a band. Just fucking play music for the love of it, which is at the end of the day what we all do.
Amen.
Thanks, this guy.
Before we wrap things up, I think we've got like 5 minutes, something like that. 10 minutes.
10. Let's dance.
Yes. What song? No. I'm thinking, and this either works or it doesn't, and it can fall completely flat on its face badly. But has anyone got a question they'd like to ask Palm Reader? Oh, yes.
Can we exclude this group over here? Everyone we know too well.
My boy at the back, you can come up and ask a question to Palm Reader on stage.
It's a lonely walk. Fair play.
Doo-doo.
How are you, mate? All right.
What's your name? Where'd you come from?
I'm Brett, 39, from Edinburgh. First off, thanks for some fucking amazing gig memories. These have been fucking incredible over the years. I saw you at the Forest stage a few years ago.
Yeah.
That was fucking
Fun.
phenomenal. You've already confirmed the Black Peaks secret set for tomorrow. So
I have.
Can we get a commitment to a Braille or a Sleepless anniversary set in a few years from now at Trees?
Damn. Cannot confirm nor deny.
I can confirm. A Braille anniversary set, February 26th, 2048, to commemorate 30 years of Braille.
Also, I noticed that Palm Reader merch you got as well. I don't see that one very often. Fair play. I like that one. Why didn't no one else buy it?
Kane. This guy's clapped the whole way through. Give it up for Kane. The Undertaker's brother.
Cheers, Mark. As a musician myself, I eventually want to have kids too. What was your initial, was it a planned thing of having kids at the same time as having a band going on, or was it like a panic? How did you deal with like having kids and being a musician on the road and stuff?
Well, the plan was to start trying this year, and it just happened early. Really.
Yeah, that's fine.
I got a little bit nervous. I still am,
Yeah.
but I think you always will be, and I think that's fine. I think the best thing to do is remember that being nervous means that something good is about to happen, something big is about to happen.
I was about to put you up on that same thing because you said that about being anxious about later set.
Yeah.
Only a good thing, man.
Yeah, man. It means there's something, like, it's a build-up of emotion that is inevitably a good thing. You can make it become a bad thing by worrying about it, but worrying isn't the best way to deal with things, I find.
Cool.
Yeah, man. Planned to an extent. I'm very happy about it. Thank you, man. Thank you. She'll be here later as well. She's going to watch the set. We've got some ear defenders. Yeah,
That's
she's
cute.
coming in.
I was terrified then he was going to come up. So you talked about planning for a baby. How's a baby made? And I was like, don't do that. Do not fucking do that now.
When a mummy and a daddy love each other very much.
They have a cuddle. I think we got time
What
for
else has he done? Baby. Yeah.
a couple more questions. Guy in the hoodie. Give it up for Guy in the hoodie.
Guy in a hoodie! Fuck yeah, hoodie guy.
The best fucking cheer of the day.
Thank you. I'm hungover.
What's your name? Where you from?
You fucking sound it. Jesus.
But yeah, my name's Callum. I'm from Manchester.
Hey.
We were singing Creed all last night, and my voice is fucked. And I would like to, because cheers for all the music. As you're saying, like, you have a lot of laughs and stuff. Could you share one of, like, some of the funniest stories you've got from being on stage? If it's on stage, it's probably legal. So,
Depends where you're playing, yeah.
well,
There's a lot, to be perfectly honest.
Should we invite someone else up on stage?
What do you mean? What?
One of them. They're the funny ones.
Yeah.
Volume and repetition.
The funniest joke that we have as a band is just volume and repetition.
Everything gets
Volume
funny.
and repetition.
Volume and repetition.
Volume and repetition.
Volume and repetition.
It just gets funnier.
Now you're funny.
See, you laugh. It's not a fucking lie.
What the fuck is going on?
It's your podcast. if you
Fucking
call it that.
hell.
You invited us.
Why did I choose you guys? One more question. Make it a good one that doesn't require a lot of thought.
What were you trying to say?
We are musicians after all.
One more question. Come on.
There's a man sat on
There
the
is
floor.
a man waving.
Guy at the back. Oh,
There
come
he
on,
is.
dude. Give it up for Guy at the back.
Yeah.
My t-shirt guy. All right.
Nice t-shirt.
What's your name? Where are you from?
Hamish from Leeds.
How are you?
Good.
You came to a couple of the shows on the last tour.
It's been all four.
All four?
All four?
Three of the four. I couldn't,
Three.
couldn't afford
Three.
Southampton.
You
There
made
was
it.
the last who did do all four, though. My question is, if you could do a set list and pick any song you wanted that wasn't like a fan favourite, what would you pick? Because I would have always loved to hear it unabridged. But
It's a good question.
Good. I will state for the record, Unabridged is the only song we've never played live ever. It can't. No, don't woo. It never happened. Did we play it once?
We played it once and it was awful.
We played it 5 times. Did we? I told you, the historians are sitting down here. They know everything.
Yeah.
I really wanted to play Lover Shadow on this set.
Yeah.
But it just didn't work, unfortunately. That was as I was listening back to old songs, that was the one that I just kind of had really tugged on my heartstrings, and I thought, I'm never going to play that song again.
Yeah.
And out of all of them, it was that one that like really got me. Unfortunately, 'twas not to be. But 2048.
I'm going to have such a bad back when we play that set. Just sit in chairs like this. For me, there's a song called Travelled Paths. I think it's on Beside the Ones We Love.
Beatel, yeah.
And it's just me and Andy, it's just a guitar and me shouting into the void. And the sentiment behind it and the poetry behind it, lyrically, is something that I've always been very proud of. And I've always wanted to do that live more. But it's not really the arena for what we do. It's not really the arena for that. It kind of brings the set down too much. That and a song called Clockwork as well.
yes.
On Braille. Again, because I'm just quite sentimental about the lyricism and the poetry inside it. Always try to achieve that as much as possible when writing lyrics. I always wanted the lyrics to just read on their own as well as performed. So yeah, those are my two. Thank you for the question.
Cheers, man.
We're almost there.
We're almost there.
We're almost there. Now, what I do on the podcast, and I've done it for every guest that's been on, and you know this because you had this question yesterday.
I forgot.
So what happens is, I even gave you a heads up, but every guest that comes on Mark and Me gets to choose the outro music that's played. So after this is all edited, and it will go out there for the world to listen to, you both get to choose a song unless you're agreeing on one together, and it will be played. So what is your... I need to know what's going on. So one song you can each choose that will be played at the end of today's episode by any band in the history of music.
Just before I answer that, I just want to give one very quick shout out to Elaine, who's been with us for years and years and years and come to more shows than I think anyone else has. Bought more merch than anyone. She's fucking amazing.
Yeah. Anyone that's come to plenty of our shows knows that there's some sort of a community within the fan base, and Elaine's definitely part of the family in terms of that. So
100%.
shout out, Elaine.
I could go first.
I know what you're going to say, though.
Let's hear it.
It's not bad.
I would like to play Baker Street by Jerry Rafferty.
Specifically when the sax comes in.
Should we just have that sax part and then fade out?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. And then we'll have your track, which you've had 24 hours to think about. And I gave you a heads up yesterday and you went, oh, cheers for that.
Can you just do like a hard rewind and then play it again? Yeah. You know, like when they pull up a track and then just do it again. That's perfect.
Come on, a song
But
you love.
louder.
Come on.
Repetition and volume. I'm not fucking kidding.
Fine. Everyone happy with that choice?
Yeah.
Jerry Rafferty, Baker Street twice, please.
That's fine with me. This feels really fucking sad to say, but I want everyone in this room to make some noise for Andy and Josh from the incredible Palm Reader.
Thank you.
Cheers, y'all.
Thank you, boys. Any last final words for the fans out there? For everyone that supported you? Repetition.
Thank you is the obvious one, isn't it? You could say any number of words in a certain order, and I don't think it would ever really sort of constitute how we actually feel. So thank you.
It's really hard to articulate like the end of 13 years together. So it's always good to have something meaningful, but you can always just remember to spit on that thing, y'all. Hard tour. Yeah.
Fucking hell. Brilliant. Give it up for Hector. I can't finish after that, so we're done. We are done. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
So there it is. There's my final ever interview with Palm Reader. Wow. Andy and Josh, absolute legends, were incredible guests. It was so good to see the response we got at the festival. The live podcast, I believe, couldn't have gone better. And when a band have come into the music scene, had such an impact and leave such a legacy, their final words being Hector, well, that just speaks volumes. I want to say a massive thank you now to Emma, Emma, recently you had a massive shout out for Chino coming on the podcast, and this time round we've done the final ever Palm Media interview, so because of you I am so grateful yet again. I honestly get so emotional thinking about how much you've done for this podcast, and all I want you to know is I absolutely adore you and I'm so grateful. Also, a massive thanks to Josh and Andy and the other members of Palm Media for trusting in me to do this very final interview, and a huge thanks to 2000 Trees and the organisers and everyone else behind the scenes for making this happen. If you're listening to this and you've enjoyed today's episode, as always guys, please share it. It costs nothing to do. You can jump on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram or TikTok, hit that share button and let more and more people hear this very final interview with the absolute legends Palm Media. All the links are on markandme.com, so I've made it really simple for you to do. And if you do want to go that extra mile, I do also have a Patreon account. That basically gives me money to go and put back into the podcast so I can host it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. It means I can travel to these festivals and travel the UK and get more interviews for you guys at home. But in return for signing up, you get exclusive episodes called The Lost Tapes, you get a welcome pack which includes stickers, a badge, a newsletter, and so much more. And all the links for that are also on markandme.com right now. Now, I do feel quite emotional because I got to see Palm Media's last ever show. It was absolutely unbelievable and everything you could ever wish for and more. It was so good, and I already have this hole and void that I don't think any other band will come along and replace. I also felt quite emotional editing this interview because I know that it's the last time we're going to hear from the band like this. So it's been a real rollercoaster of emotions, but I am so sad they've gone. But I'm so glad we got this interview for you guys at home, and I want to thank you all for taking the time to listen. Right, I'll be back in only a few days' time with another brand new episode. So until then, look after yourself, take care, listen to Palm Media, keep them close to your heart forever, and I'll speak to you all very soon.
Winding your way down on Baker Street, lighting your head and dead on your feet. Well, another crazy day. You'll drink the night away and forget about everything. This city desert makes you feel so cold. It's got so many people, but it's got no soul, and it's taken you so long to find out you were wrong when you thought it held everything. You used to think that it was so easy. You used to say that it was so easy, but you're trying now. Another year and then you'd be happy. Just one more year and then you'd be happy. But you're crying now. give up the booze and the one-night stands, and then he'll settle down in some quiet little town and forget about everything. But you know he'll always keep moving. You know he's never gonna stop moving, 'cause he's rolling, he's the rolling stone. When you wake up, it's a new morning. The sun is shining, it's a new morning. And you're going home. Winding your way down on Baker Street, lighting your head and dead on your feet. Well, another crazy day. You'll drink the night away and forget about everything. This city desert makes you feel so cold. It's got so many people, but it's got no soul, and it's taken you so long to find out you were wrong when you thought it held everything. You used to think that it was so easy. You used to say that it was so